Oh, sorry, give me a second. Let me change the screen sharing side because the one that not the one that my head is too big. Um, does it still work like this? Can you guys still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Okay, great. So today's class, we're going to discuss how to design cross-platform experiences. Now, by cross-platform experiences, we mean designing for different platforms, for different devices, right? The way apps look on desktop is not the way they look on phones, and is not the way they look on um, smartwatches. You know, it's not the way they look on smart refrigerators, right? So, as product designers, sometimes we have to design for the different platforms that our users are likely to use. Why is this still not going to the next screen? Stop, give me a second. Sorry, I'm not sure why it's not moving to the next screen. Mouse instead. Do the same thing. Um, okay. So, what is a platform? As I described, platform is the medium with which users are using to experience that the product that you design. And as a product designer, it's important that you consider the different platforms that users are going to experience your design on, and then you design for those different platforms. Um, and a lot of basically, designing for different platforms is not like because the screen on the desktop is bigger, you just make the things bigger, and because the things on mobile is smaller, you just make it smaller. That's not how it works. You have to design to optimize for the different platforms that your users are using to experience your product. So the kind of platforms that we have and that are most common, you have mobile phones, you have computers, both desktop and laptops, you have tablets, then you have smartwatches, you have televisions now because televisions are also becoming smart TVs. You have virtual reality headsets that are also becoming a lot more popular than they were before. In fact, you have other platforms like refrigerators, right? Smart refrigerators. There are refrigerators now that come with screens, and then you can basically, interact with it like any other product, any other digital product. And then you have things like um, um, smart speakers. I'm speaking of like Siri. Um, I'm speaking of what's this product? These Amazon products, right? Um, Alexa. Basically, you have to design for all these platforms. Now, when designing for different platforms, there are things you have to consider, right? You have to consider the screen size, of course. You have to consider interaction, basically the way the users interact with it, right? The way I'm interacting with my, laptop now is not the way I would interact with my phone. And the way I interact with my phone is not how I interact with my smartwatch. is also not how I interact with my Alexa. So with different devices, users interact with them differently. Then the content layout, you have to consider the content layout. So for instance, because um, desktop devices are wider than they are long, you know, it means something when you're designing. And because mobile phones are longer than they are wide, that's like the portrait mode and landscape mode, like the and in fact, even your mobile device, you can either hold it in portrait mode or you can hold it in landscape mode. So that also, influences your design. And also you have to think of the functionality of the device that you have. So um, the desktop laptop, may have a front-facing camera, but most of them don't have a back-facing camera, for instance. But they have some things, right? For instance, they have more powerful processors because they just have more space inside. They have more battery life. They have other things, like even the real estate, that's the size of the screen, also counts. They have all these ports, the USB ports, and these are things you have to consider. The phones, for instance, have some things that desktop, computers don't have. The phones have like GPS, although laptops now, can come with GPS as well, to locate where the laptop is. But phones have other things like gyroscope, right? So if you turn the phone knows its position in space. The phone knows where, when it's turned, in landscape, or whether when it's being shaked. So the phone has sensors that is able to tell the phone its position in space. Um, Apart from that, phones have cameras, right? Very powerful cameras, front-facing cameras, back-facing cameras. What else? The phones have touch screen, capacity. In fact, buttons on the side, tap, um, sensors basically around it. Some phones will even have like things like Bluetooth, infrared, So all of those things are things you have to consider. You have to consider all the functionalities that the devices that you're designing for, comes with, because that is going to influence how or what it can do, or how it can um, um, what you can do with it basically. So watches, for instance, some like smartwatches, nowadays they are able to measure your oxygen saturation. They are able to measure things like heart rates. Some of them are claim to measure, ECGs. Of course, they also come with gyroscopes, though, so they know their position in space. They have sensors that allow them to measure, the tone of muscles that they are sitting on, so that you can, do an interaction with your thumb or your finger, and then it's going to know that you've done something with your finger. Um, of course, they also have this GPS, so they know their location generally. Um, they have a lot of sensors, position sensors, vibration sensors, and all of that. So um, comes with that. Now, other platforms generally have their own things, right? And you, as a designer, you have to know the functionality of the products or the platform that you're designing for, in order to design a full um, or design products that is going to take advantage of all of those properties. Now there is something that we call 4Cs when we're designing for cross, platforms, like when we're designing for multiple platforms. Now, so when you're designing a product, right, sometimes you design a product for mobile, and then that product also can also work on desktop, and the product can also work on watches, etc., etc. So there are 4Cs that when you're designing, you have to also consider. One is consistency. So the brand has to look alike in all the products. It doesn't mean that they will have to look the same. After all, when you are let's say, for instance, you want to design a bank app. let's say, for instance, you want to design a bank app. Now imagine, okay, we actually will talk about these things in detail, but these are the four C's. Like, you have to consider consistency, continuity, context, and the things you're designing have to, the platforms have to be complementary to each other. So in more detail, right? So what is consistency? So when you're designing, your, let's say you're designing an app, or a website, when you're designing it across platforms, they have to be consistent, right? So you have to stay true to your brand language when you're designing across platforms. I'll give you an instance, right? So if, for instance, you are designing a bank app, and then let's say you're designing a bank app for Stanbic IBTC. Stanbic IBTC has like a navy blue, or sorry, royal blue, I guess. So it has a royal blue branding. They have their own fonts that they use. They have their own language, generally the copy that they use, right? What their buttons will say, the kind of things that they will say on their website, is specific to Stanbic IBTC. Now, imagine that maybe you come on the mobile, or the mobile Stanbic IBTC, and the branding is all blue, like normal Stanbic IBTC, and they're sounding serious like they should because they're a bank, and all of that. After experiencing that, you go over to their website on desktop, and then instead of blue, is looking reddish, right? Is looking reddish, and then the font they're using is a different font, and they are now sounding a bit different, like they are sounding hippie and young and all of that, whereas on their app they are sounding different. You naturally feel that that you're on a different platform, and because of that is going to affect your trust, because is your money you're dealing with, so you kind of naturally believe you should be careful. So if the way they sound on their app is not the way they sound on their website, or if the branding on their app is not the kind of branding on their website, it's going to affect the trust you have for the company, the trust you have for the website, and affect your user experience, right? So in order to build trust, you need to have that consistency across platforms. It doesn't mean it has to be the same. It means it has to be consistent. And we'll talk about, I would show you a demonstration later. Again, you have to think of continuity, right? So the idea of continuity is that users' experience have to be seamless across platforms. A lot of times we can start something on our desktop and we are not able to finish it on our desktop. Maybe we have some things going on, we need to go, and then we take our mobile. We should be able to continue that thing on our mobile while we are going away. Do you understand? Another example is, let's say when you're working out, you wear your smartwatch, someone sends you an email, you should be able to know on your smartwatch that somebody has sent you an email. Whether you decide to read it on your smartwatch or not is a different scenario, is a different question. But you should be able to know that something has happened on that app if you have that app on your smartwatch, right? So that's continuity. Continuity is basically the idea that your experience should continue across platforms. There should not be any breaking point. If you start something on your laptop, you should be able to continue it to an extent on your mobile, or continue to an extent on your smartwatch. So for instance, on Google Maps, when I maybe want to plan my day, or plan where I'm going, maybe I'm going to a meeting and the area I'm going, I'm not really very conversant with it. I can come on my desktop, if it's my working, desktop, and then I should be able to initiate planning my movements, right? So when I initiate my planning, maybe I can key in, the places I want to go or my plan for that day. I should be able to, maybe when I now get into my car, I can no longer carry my desktop, but I have my phone. I should not have to start afresh. Everything I've done, I started afresh on my phone again. It should continue because the same app that is on my desktop is also on my phone. So it should also continue. Now, if I'm now going and then there is a place I now have to park my car and then start walking on the street, and then I can no longer be looking at my phone because I'm walking on the street. Let me not get an accident, Abby. If I'm wearing a smartwatch, it should also be able to notify me, about the things that I've put. Maybe tell me, okay, this is now your time to turn, maybe to vibrate, you understand? Or turn left, turn right. I should be able to continue that experience on any device that is connected or that has that app installed. That is the idea of continuity. So if users are unable to, let's say, start an email, on their desktop and then finish up that email on their mobile phone, they are going to be frustrated. And, maybe there was a time when they would tolerate it, but now that many, big brand products are doing it, they will no longer tolerate, not being able to continue what they're doing, across their devices. Sorry, give me a second. Now, another thing is context. Have I jumped? Okay. Context, right? The idea of context is thinking about the situation where a user is using a product, right? The context in which they are using a product. Now, the context in which someone is using Google Maps in their office, on their desktop, is not the same context in which they are using it in their car on the road. They are different contexts. And as a designer, you would have to think about the context in which people could be using your product. If somebody, starts up, let's take an example, a random example now, right? That Nike app, that Nike workout app, yeah? I don't know if that app has, I don't know if that app is connected to a computer, like it has like a desktop version. I don't know. But if it does, right, someone that is designing it will have to think about what is the context in which somebody would open this app. It's definitely not when the person is running, right? So if I'm opening that Nike app in a desktop, you can tell that I am not running at that moment. And running is probably not, because you cannot be carrying your desktop and then you are running on a field. That's not how people use desktops. That's not the context in which desktops are used. So when I think about the context in which somebody could be using their desktop, it will now guide me to know the kind of functionalities to put inside that app, right? So if someone is opening that Nike app on their desktop, most likely the person is trying to maybe, find out a history of how they've run or how many calories they would have burned, or maybe they want to set goals for next runs, or maybe they want to catch up with some of their, workout buddies, right? But they are not opening it in a context of working out at that moment. Whereas if someone is opening the same app on their mobile phone, there is a chance that maybe they are running at that moment and they want to maybe see their progress, maybe they want to view the map to see if they've missed their road or something like that. Please give me a second. So if they're opening the same app on their mobile phone, it's possible they are on the pitch or on the field, or they are trying to run because they can run with their mobile phone in a way that they cannot run with their computer. They can run with their mobile phone. So in that time, you would want to show them information that can help them at that moment when they are running. Maybe something like map of the place that they need to go to, or something, that is going to tell them how well they are doing, or, at that time or something, right? So the functionalities will be different. And also, you also need to consider again, the real estate, big screen versus small screen. For instance, when you're now designing the watches, right? If that app is also on the watch, again, what the user is using it for when they are running or when they are using it on a watch, the context is also different. And as a designer, you need to think about that context and think about the particular features they may need in that context. For instance, somebody that is looking at that app on their watch is most likely not trying to see the whole, events of their history, their run history. Maybe they are trying to just, focus on what they are doing at the moment or catch up on a particular, maybe know some numbers of how many calories they've burned or something like that, or how many steps they've taken or something like that. So you think about that, the context in which they're, using it when you are designing that experience for them. So this is like a screenshot I made, a screen recording I made of the Google of Google on mobile. So you can see that this is a mobile view. So let's just I think it's like a 3 to 5 minute recording. So just listen to it. Okay, so this is the Google Map for mobile, right? And here, immediately the options you see on the navigation bar, you have Explore, Go, and then you have Saved, and then Contribute and Update, right? So let's go. And then on this search section, you have the Speak to search, and then you have this button that when you click it, it opens up a menu, and then you can turn on incognito mode, your profile, offline maps, your data in maps settings, at the missing place, your business, etc., etc. Manage your accounts, by the way. So also gives you like quick searches, like searching restaurants around you, hotels around you, gas stations, groceries, coffee, shopping, bars. You can also go to more, and then you can see the full, display of everything that you could search around you. So you can see, okay, here, for instance, it has this that's kind of on your location. And then you have this that's basically directions of wherever you want to go to from your first location to whatever destination that you want to go to. What else? Right, that's that part, right? So exploring this menu one-on-one. So if you click explore, it shows you the things that are in your area. If you click to go, and then it asks you basically, you can put, in fact, you can even key in things like where your home is and where your work is, so that it can easily kind of show you the biggest way to get to where you want to go. Then you go to saved, it shows you all the saved places that you have on your phone. If you want to contribute, you can contribute also to it by taking pictures and making commentary on where you are located. And then it has, updates, latest from people you follow, from people around you, notifications if you have any, messages if you have any. So this is kind of what it looks like. And in fact, when you are, let's say, you want to go to a certain area, let's say I'm going to Barking, for instance. Sorry, someone said that you can't hear the sound. Hello? Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're here. Yeah.
Can you hear the
it's
sound?
a bit faint. It's not very clear, but I can still hear a bit.
Oh,
At least
okay.
we're able to get most of the
Yes, but
functions,
it's
and
just a bit.
yeah.
It's not as clear as you're sounding.
Okay. Okay. It's on your phone. Like you have it on your phone, so you can still go ahead and
Okay.
the kind of the things I'm talking about. What I want to do, I want to show you what it is because I can't show you my own mobile phone. And then after it, we're going to compare what the desktop version of the same app looks like so that you can get the difference of what I'm trying to say. Click on directions, and then it shows you basically how you can get there with a car, how you can get there with a bike, how you can get there with transportation, public transportation, how you can get there by walking, how you can get there, I don't know if you want to catch cabs, how you can get there by cycling, by flying if it's in a different country, basically. And then it doesn't stop there. It shows you, gives you details like 30 minutes, the traffic, what it looks like, and gives you picture views of everything that you'll be seeing in your environment when you do so. And it does a bit more than that. So if, for instance, you choose to walk, and then you start, it has an option of you using a view where you can, of course, share your true progress, and then you can tilt up to change view. So I think this works better when you are actually walking on your own. So when you tilt it up, the augmented reality settings come up, and then you can start walking. You can start walking, to your destination. So it's really easy for you to navigate. Like it shows you. I wish I can demonstrate that here, but tilt doesn't work here. It works in some areas where it can show you the buildings, and then an augmented reality comes up using your back camera to show you, direct you exactly where you need to go. So this is what it looks like. Very elaborate. In fact, there's just so much. It has so much, right? That is designed specifically for the mobile. All right. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can share my screen and show you what the same app looks like on desktop. And what I want you to do now, if you have this app on your phone, that's the Google Maps. If you have it on your phone, just open it and then compare the phone view and what I'm going to show you now, so that you get you understand what I'm saying. So I'm opening let me reshare my screen to. All right. So can you see the screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So this is what it looks like on desktop. Now, you can see that the features are a bit different, right? So if, for instance, doesn't show you, the tilt to AR feature. And okay, let me just open my own this side by side so I can also compare in real time, right? It doesn't have that restaurants around you because it doesn't expect restaurants to be around you. You are in your house using your desktop, you understand? So it doesn't have that feature of show me the gas station around me, or the hotels around me, or the coffee shop, or any of those things. It doesn't have it, because it expects you to be in your house or in your office when you're using, this thing. However, it does other things. There are other things that you can do with this particular app, right? So, for instance, you can press this, hover on this, and then you see what initial looks like, and then go to direction of, you see. So it's using the full advantage of having a big screen to do things that you could not do when you are using a mobile. So there are advantages of big screen that is taking full advantage of, that is not possible to do when you are using a desktop. So another thing here, this one can do, for instance, you can print this page. Let's say you want to um, you want to sell maps. Do you understand? Like, you want to sell map of your village. You want to print it out on a very big paper and sell it. You can go to your village, zoom in to get all the structures you want, and then you print it out, and then you start selling it for whatever. You can do other things. For instance, there was something I wanted to share or embed maps. So, for instance, if you're building a product, if you're building like an app or a website that would involve having a Google Map feature, where they can show people where the restaurant is or whatever, you can use this embed map and take the code that is required and then put it in whatever code you're building. It's like an API kind of feature. Do you understand? And the mobile doesn't have it because, again, context. Yeah. Then this one has other things like recents, and then it can show you, like, has quick view of all the places you've gone to. Like, it's taking full advantage of the power of the processor, full advantage of the size of the screen, to give you an experience that is best experienced with a desktop device. It's not trying to be a big version of the mobile app. Do you understand? It's not like a big version of the mobile app. It's like a desktop app that is designed for desktop, and it uses all the advantages of being a desktop to give you the best experience that a desktop can give you. Whereas if on mobile, it's using all the features of mobile to give you the best experience that mobile can give you. So it's not like because this thing is just going to make it a big mobile version. No, it designs it in such a way that it's going to take advantage of all the good things or all the features that a desktop comes with to give you the best desktop experience of that product. A desktop experience of a product is not simply an enlarged form of a mobile experience. That's not what it is. You can see that even the placement of everything is different, taking advantage of the size, taking advantage of processing power, taking advantage of the context that the person is in, to give you the best experience that you can experience for this particular apps. Just imagine, like, the recent places you've been to, is just going to put it on the map so that you can even press and then see all the places that you've basically gone to. Do you understand? Something that you would not be able to do with the mobile. So that's what I wanted to show you. I think let's see. Let me see if I think this was the last thing. Okay, no, not the last thing actually, but it's close to the last. Right. Okay, give me a second. Let's go back to our right. So the last C is complementary, right? It's complementary, and that's kind of what I've explained. Like, say, complementary is basically ensuring that every platform that the user is on is going to add something new. And the reason it can add something new is that the features that platform has, whether it's a back camera, a quality camera, whether it's the possibility of using augmented reality, it's using it to the fullest in order to give that app an experience that, cannot be experienced on other platforms, right? You may think that using, like the smartwatch is very small and all of that, but there are powerful features smartwatches have that other platforms cannot have, and because other platforms cannot have it, there are experiences they can design into that smartwatch that is going to give it, make people say, even though I have a phone, even though I have a desktop, I need to get a watch in order to experience this app in this way. Do you understand? And the same thing, happens for televisions. The context in which people watch televisions, with their families and all of that. So for instance, when I'm using my laptop, I know I'm the only person that is watching it. But when I'm using my television, my children could be there. So there are privacy things that you can, it becomes a privacy concern, right? Because there are maybe things that I want to be able to see only alone, right? I don't want the whole, family or people that are in the parlor watching the television with me to see it, right? So these are things you need to consider. These days, some refrigerators come with screens, right? And the things people want to experience on that is different, and also the context is different. Refrigerators would typically be located in the kitchen. What else do people do when they're in the kitchen? Maybe they're also cooking, right? Because it's in the kitchen. So maybe this one will now come with a feature that is going to, be showing people recipe, showing people what they have in the fridge, and then the kind of food that they can prepare when they are based on the things that they have inside their fridge. You understand? So these are the things that you need to consider when you're designing for different platforms. So it's not just a matter of, okay, I've designed the desktop app. Now, for me to design the mobile app, I just shrink the desktop one and it becomes mobile. That's not how it works. You have to think of using the full, complete features of that mobile to design experiences that mobile can deliver, but desktop cannot deliver, to give a user a different, a reason for using the mobile version of that app. Sorry. Okay, so that's it basically. That's the end of our conversation on this side. And then we are supposed to jump on the conversation on the other side. But if you have any questions before then, this would be the best time to ask. So do you have any questions? Okay, so let's jump onto our Figma. So on Figma, we are going to be, by the way, what I described mostly works with apps. Sometimes you could work with websites. And I'm going to show you exactly how the app, the website that we designed last week was like this Facebook website. So not Facebook website, Meta website. So we're going to kind of compare its desktop view and its mobile view, see the differences, see the similarities. But this is not an app, mind you. There is a difference between websites and apps. Apps give a lot more flexibility, but websites, can be a bit rigid in that sense. But let's see how you can convert desktop websites to mobile websites. Okay. Okay, so this is the website we designed last week. I think someone tampered with this. Oh, someone tampered with it. Okay, no. Someone tampered with this. I don't. Okay, someone went in here apparently and just changed a couple of things I designed here, and I don't even know how that works. I'm just going to try to fix it back anyway. I don't understand. Like, how? Why? Why? Huh? Uh, uh, okay. Naturally, when you are trying to, let's say, um, go through a work that you want to maybe like copy or something or examine, you don't change it. Even if you change something, try to put it back where you found it, right? So that you don't confuse the people that need to use it. Now I know this thing. What is this? Right. So what is this one? This is the try to. This is just going to fix it. Okay. Okay, that fixes it. But please, um, this is not here. This is not here. This one is here. Okay. Now I'm looking for this segment, this video segment now. I know the spaces here shouldn't be 100. So this one should not even be here. This one should not be here. This one should be. Okay. So this is the. I'm sorry. I'm sorry because like someone just came here and just disrupted everything. You know. So I have to. Which one is this one? Which one is this one? Okay, that's enough for this. Like say hero. Um, not very part of the hero. Okay, whatever. Now this one is the. Why is it? Why is it homepage? Oh, why is my hero out of my homepage? Oh God. Oh God. Whoever did this committed adultery here. What the what's going on? Okay. So it's now part of the hero again. Okay, this was what I used as video. So it should have been right under here. Okay. I know what to do. So this one should be right on top of this. And this is the video, and this is this, and the world is round again. All right, so we're back. But please, when you need to examine things, after even if you change anything, just use Control Z to go back to the original. Like I like the idea that you're curious and all of that, but don't don't because it's something that everyone else has to work with. So don't leave it messed up. Just kind of put it back the way you saw it. Right. So now let's compare the mobile view with the the desktop view. Now let's say this mobile view. Let's say we wanted to see it on an iPhone 14 Pro Max, right? the width should be 430. So I'm going to make this also 430, 430. Okay, right. So this is kind of what is going to look like, right? On an iPhone 14. Right. So you can see where this one is, this hero section, right? Okay, first of all, the nav bar only has here it has the logo, that's this logo, and then every other thing was shrunk into this icon, so that when you now click on this icon, it opens up and shows you everything that you need to see, right? Then this hero section still has this picture, but then this part of it is put right under the picture as opposed to beside the picture, because again, um, on desktop, people are viewing their desktop on landscape, whereas on the mobile, they are viewing it on portraits, right? So things will have to align in portrait mode, right? And this also came under portrait mode, basically to give the same experience, but different orientations. So you can see that it's pretty consistent. Whoever looks at this website kind of knows that it's also this website. Like there is no confusion on whether they are on a different website. It's the same website, right? The branding is the same, everything is the same, just that the things have been arranged a bit differently to make up for the fact that you are now viewing it on a device that is, straight, as opposed to, that is in portrait mode as opposed to in landscape mode. Yeah. And then the next session now comes in with the meta. They shrunk this a bit. So if here you had 3 lines, here it became 4 lines because they had to shrink it a bit so that it kind of fits in. And then here, the main thing was this part of it, and then the pictures, can change. I think these pictures still change. So now instead of having 4 pictures at a time, they only had 2 at a time. And then I'm guessing maybe these things kind of move around, right? So this is basically how, mind you, that these extra pictures here, last time we talked about it, we had to put them in absolute. We have to put them in absolute positions because they don't really follow any rule, and that is kind of repeating here because they are in absolute position. Even this icon, is now in a different position relative to the picture on it. So they are just moving around. Yeah. Then this part is that video part of it. So here you can see a very full video. Here you can also see it was also a full video. And in this case, after the video plays, this text comes up like a feature of connection, blah, blah, blah. Then under it, you have this. Now, notice that this, was laying side by side to each other because, again, they had space. But here, because there is no space side by side, put it side by side, they put it, they stacked them on top of each other, right? And then here, the same thing, just a little change, nothing much. And then this thing, positioned with the text beside the picture, but in this case, you had the picture on top and the text right under it, right? And then here, the same thing stacked on top of each other as opposed to side by side. And then here, they didn't want to, because they wanted you to see the full view of whatever reason, they didn't stack it all the way that on top of each other. They made it a scrollable, like they made it a carousel so that it kind of scrolls, right? You can scroll, and then because it's a carousel and not everything is showing, they are telling you that it's 3 of 3 that you're viewing, so you can go from 2 of 3. Notice how this thing comes up that wasn't here because there was a need for it to be there. Here there is no need for you to tell you that you're looking at 3 of 3 because you can see everything. But here now, it's telling you, it's giving you a signal that this is just a third. There is also a second and a first, so that it will now prompt you to scroll through to see the first and the second one. And here, notice what happened here at the footer. They still had the meta, the followers and all of that. But unlike with the first, the virtual reality, they've collapsed, the content of each of the menu items, like of each of the items. Like we've collapsed the content into something that is a drop down so that it does not elongate too much, right? So here, if you now want to see everything under virtual reality, you click this button. Again, this button wasn't here, but now it appears here so that you can click it to see everything. The same with the smart glasses, the same with the about us, so this is a way they've redesigned it so that it makes sense on mobile. Something that they couldn't achieve, on like basically they are designing for mobile. Like this is not like a shrunken version of the desktop. It's just a mobile version, period, right? It's just a mobile version. Also pay attention to certain things like the text sizes. In some places, the text sizes are pretty much the same. For instance, the logo here is almost the same. But of course, the mobile is a bit smaller. And then here is also the same thing. For some, the text can no longer go, smaller. For instance, here, the difference is not really that much. Although for the bigger text, there is a significant, text size difference. Because there is a limit to which they can shrink text for it to, and then at some point it becomes illegible. So these are things you have to consider. Even here, for instance, the virtual reality text here on mobile, they use a different, the size of the text is pretty much the same. In fact, one can argue that it's even bigger on the mobile than on the desktop. Also the icon size and all of that. So these are things that to look at and consider. This thing is kind of is scaled to size. So this is actual, size of desktop, and this is actual size of the mobile phone. It's scaled to size 430 by 6,000. Okay, 430 is the width because this is a long screen, right? And then this one is 1,440. So this is the size of an iPhone, 14 and 15 Pro Max. iPhone 14 and 15 Pro Max. Right, so let's get on with it. Let's get on to designing it. Okay, I think what I would rather do is because because there is really nothing else that I can show you that we've not done. So what I'm going to do with this class is actually just correct some of the mistakes that you guys have made in your own, like for the people that have submitted. Because at the end of the day, this is basically the last class, and I'm just showing you how it is now stacked in mobile. We can go ahead and do it, but it would be a waste of our time because there is nothing new that you're learning here. It's just that you're now learning how to arrange it differently, of which I've shown you how to, giving you an idea of how to arrange it differently. So what I'm going to do with this class is kind of making corrections with the ones that you guys did. Can you guys see the playground now? Am I audible?
Yes, yeah. Audible, sir.
All right. This is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite works, by the way. Almost everything here was done perfectly. Like, great job. Who has this job? Whose work is this?
Me.
Oh, peace. Okay. Right. So, but there are a couple of things, right? So, peace. Every website has a navigation bar, even if you're not seeing it, it has a navigation bar. Now, this one now, the nav bar, they can be a bit um how do I put it? They can be a bit creative on what they do with the navigation bar, you know, whatever. But the navigation bar is always there. Your navigation bar is missing, right? You don't have a nav bar. So all you should have done is to make this a nav bar. It kind of goes all the way to the end. So this one, for instance, you should have made it a nav bar, and then it extends all the way to the end, and then the hero section. So it's not really arranged in the form of navigation bar hero section. So this is the hero section, right? This part here is the section, right? But this is the navigation bar, and it goes all the way to the end. And in fact, how you know it's the navigation bar is that when you start scrolling, this part is likely to remain there, remain fixed on top while everything goes under it or something. But you need to always keep in mind that a website will have a navigation bar. It's almost like a standard, except something, generally it's standard. And this one does have a navigation bar. It's possible that some people may decide to design their own without a nav bar, but these guys have a nav bar. It's just that you're not, because they were creative with the way they handled it, it's now looking like a nav bar, but it's a nav bar. And this is a hero section, right? So you need to treat it like a hero section. Um, Separate from the nav bar. I think aside that, every other thing kind of falls in place. So what I like about your work is that you actually made use of auto layouts, where they should be. Although in some places you are a bit like creative. Let's use that word. So here now, I can't see the reason for having this particular frame that I just selected. You have this frame, right? I don't see the need. This frame has an auto layout. I don't see the need for this frame that doesn't have an auto layout. So what would I do, right? What I would do is I would remove this one exactly and add a pattern. What does this mean that your this thing is not colored? Okay, so now it's colored. You see, so the back, anyway, you can do it whichever way. You can decide to, color each frame, whichever way you want to do it, really doesn't matter. So what you would have done is to use padding, right? You use top and bottom padding to show that difference, right? So fix that one. Everything is pretty much, okay. I'm satisfied with the fonts you use. I'm satisfied with your use of icons and where you used it. And here is another place. I mean, you chose a website that is not very easy, and you did a really good job with it. So here, for instance, right, I like how you arranged this, right? See the arrangements. I love it. Pretty much, the same thing. So this box now, I'm guessing is the same size as this box. Oh, that's a mistake. If it's not, it's a mistake. So if this is 600, this one is also likely to be 600, right? We can measure. We can measure to see what I mean. So let me take this. Right, so this is 5 whatever. But if I take it here, it's likely to be the same. Okay. Okay, let me bring this to the front so that I'm not. Why is it not coming to the front? Okay, it's inside your piece, this thing. Bring to front. So okay. Now if I want to duplicate this and bring this here, I expect that it's the same, exact same size. Like you see, it's the exact same size. Is always the exact same size. So what that means is that this thing, these two boxes should be the exact same size. Yeah. So typically how you want to handle things like this is that you want to, design a frame, then copy and paste the frame, like, design this one, copy and, paste it, and then do whatever edits you need to do to this one. Maybe you want to show, you reduce the size of this one or whatever you want to do, but you understand, like, make sure, okay, in this case, what I would do is like, I would fix the outside, like fix it, make it not hot content, but fixed height, then make all of them fixed height, because like I've decided that this is going to be the height, so that when I reduce the size of this one, this main size of the actual frame doesn't. You understand? So that's kind of what you need to do, and then repeat it in all, so that you get a perfect, result. Now, here, if I fill up this background, I can see that the space here, is not accounted for. Here is not that much, right? And the reason is because, your bigger frame, if you have one. Okay, so how did you organize this? Is it like down? Okay, or what of this one? Okay, wrapped. Very creative actually. But wrapped, using wrapped here is creative and all, but it's difficult, right? It's difficult. You can see now that because you didn't calculate everything to the dots, your space, location, watch this middle part. Your space location is coming up on different sides. You get, it's coming up on different sides, whereas it should align all the way down. So what I would do is, if the ones on the same row, I'll put them on a separate auto layout, and basically treat them as separate auto layouts. You get separate auto layouts, and then stack them up, like up and down like this. So that's for that section. And then for this section, this is also another difficult section. I actually like the fact that you chose a difficult, arrangement and try to, do a good job, getting it. But this is another place where I would have done things differently. So here, like they have, so the arrangement is pretty much the same, right? They have their picture, and then they have this thing on this side, the location on this side, and then they have their name and job description, right? And then is a carousel. I don't know exactly if this is like, why the sizes are different. I think you'll be in a better position to understand why they are different. But with what I'm seeing here, how would I have handled this? Sorry, is this a move? Does it move? Was it moving?
Yes, it was.
It was moving, right? So maybe
No,
when
no, it wasn't. I think I'll have to click on the picture. When I click on the picture, then to open the profile of the person, it wasn't
all right.
moving.
Well, okay, it was it static like this, that this one is static, and then this is static and also small, and then this is static of different.
Yes.
Okay, that's how it is.
Yes.
Right. So I guess they just use different sizes because it's just the impossible, to have everything, of the same size in this particular scenario. So how did you handle this? Okay, not bad. Fixed with 568. This one is also 568. Not bad actually. Not bad. Not bad. So that the spacing is going to, but then what happened here is I don't understand. Like you use like negative, okay, negative 25. Why did you choose negative 25?
Because it was not working as a positive number. They were too close to each other.
Let's see what it looks like. Okay, it will be like this, right?
Yes.
That would mean that that okay, that I understand. That would mean that you would just need to use different frame sizes, because different frame sizes. I understand the predicament, Sha. Mm, I understand the predicament. I think it was a good that was a good solution. I wouldn't even I don't know. Whatever solution I will give you is going to be my word against yours. Okay, but now what do we have here? Like Stockholm is on top or what? Like, am I the one that did it now? Let me make sure I'm not. Okay, that was my fault. Um, right. I mean, it's a solution. It's a solution. So what happens is with this kind of thing is that you have to explain to the the guys that are the developers so that they understand what is going on here, right? Explain that to the developers because it might be a confusing moment. Um, this I'm not seeing any auto layouts. On put auto layout, what happens? Nothing happens. It's just that the site says, so why didn't you put auto layouts? What auto layout does is that it kind of helps you remove any. Okay, you put auto layout on this one, but not. Then why did you need a shell for it?
I think I did everything like that instead of adding padding.
You should have added padding. You should have added padding. You should have, this becomes an extra something. Do you understand?
Okay.
The reason why I actually want you to do it the way I'm saying you should do it is because if you are going to use a no code, like if you're going to want to build this website by yourself by using like Figma to HTML tool, right? This is going to be confusing. This is going to be problematic. Do you understand?
Yes.
You kind of want to make it as simple as possible, so that the tool, whatever tool you are using, is not confused. So having this extra box inside this box is a solution, but and then it means I can take this anywhere. So how do you even know where the center was or anything? It now becomes a thing of accuracy with your own eyes. You eyeball it. This eyeballing is why I don't like, is why I prefer using auto layout, because having to do this eyeballing is, I cannot trust my eyes, and you should not be able to trust yours as well. Or you shouldn't. Why do you need to trust your eyes when you have tools? When you have tools that kind of simply automate all these things. Do you understand? Now this one also, okay, the same thing, the same thing. So just use padding more. Okay, use padding more. So what do we have here? 605 by this one, the height. Why is the height different? Why are the heights different? The heights are different. Why? No, no,
Oh, I
no.
think I put one to Hulk content.
No, no,
instead
no.
of-
No. Don't do that. Like, you want to this one, yeah, is always should always feel container. Like, they are similar objects, so everything about them has to be similar except the parts, in which they are different. Else, it's going to be confusing. And this idea of a frame inside or auto layout inside a frame, that it. Find a better solution that has auto layout all the way. The same thing here, auto layout inside the frame. I don't understand it. Just start using padding more, and then here I think what happened here? Union, and was it a How is it staying? How is it staying? You use absolute position. Where is this thing located?
Behind the text.
Behind
The text.
Yeah, but where is it? Like, in which frame is it inside? Which frame is it inside?
It's inside the footer frame, yeah.
Inside the footer. Okay, okay. But then, how is it inside? How does it remain inside the footer? How do you manage to put it inside the footer? Okay, no auto layer. There is no auto layout. If you put auto layout now, everything will scatter. Or this one, you see, when I put auto layout, this one automatically puts itself in absolute positioning, which is what you should have done, right? What you should have done is put an auto layout on this, and then put the frames where they should be, and then put this one on absolute positioning. It has already automatically put itself safe in absolute positioning. You get, if I move absolute positioning, see what happens, right? It automatically put itself in absolute positioning, what you should have done by yourself, but of course now you have to kind of back at the back of so it's at the back of everything else. So use absolute positioning in that one, and then use your these things more. Padding. Use your padding more. Right. Which other one am I looking at? Whose one is this? Netflix.
Mine, yeah. Titalakoya.
All right. So the problem with Netflix, again, we didn't have a
number,
a navigation bar for Netflix. I think I commented on it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, yeah. So we didn't have a navigation bar. Why do we have grids here? I mean,
grids disabled it.
Okay, it's enabled on my own, but let me silence it. Right, we didn't have a nav bar, so give us a nav bar. Give us a nav bar.
Okay, can I just get something from my home?
From your,
like, on the sites, I've not been seeing. Actually, that's the issue.
You have not been seeing the site.
Like, this is directly from the site.
Okay.
Like, was designed from the site directly, and there was no navigation bar.
No, that's what I'm saying. The fact that you didn't see navigation bar doesn't mean that.
Doesn't mean it. Yeah, so I'll just look out for it then.
Is this a site? This is a site, right? This one
Yes.
here is a site.
Yes.
This thing right here is a navigation bar. This Netflix and sign out, they are on a navigation bar.
Okay.
Yes, they are on a navigation bar. Now, okay, sign out. It's just that it doesn't have now direction and all, and the actual navigation buttons, but this is a nav. This is a nav bar. But this nav bar has a transparent background that now allows you to see through the transparent background to, the thing behind it, to the frame behind it. That's what happened here. Do you get? But there is a nav bar here. This is a nav bar. This is a nav bar.
Okay, now I get. Okay, like nav, like a bar that is a navigation, but not necessarily the content and so.
Yes, not necessarily the content.
Okay.
Yeah. The content can be different, right? So some people choose, or of course, like mostly the typical thing is that the navigation is there, like about us and all of that. But some people choose to have all those content there. Doesn't mean that it's still there.
Okay. So what I did here was that put the icon and the button on without, actually it was binded together, but no background, just like an empty element.
Well, you see now that it's like it's too far from the top, right? When you're cloning a website, I want it to feel like you've cloned the website, and if somebody came to the website, the person would, or if somebody came to see the design you did, the person will be deceived into believing that they are on the website. That's the idea,
Okay.
The reason you are not able to, let's say, for instance, use this is the actual distance. Let's put it at 1440, by the way, so that we can see the and appreciate it in full, right? This is a smaller button, that is a bigger button. You know, these are things you need to appreciate, and they should look exactly like this. Exactly. Maybe, of course, the pictures can be different if you are not able to find the exact pictures or whatever. But you know, the arrangement should look like exactly like the the Netflix arrangement. That's the whole idea. Yours, you can see, is shorter, the spacing is not, and then these things are big. I don't know what are these. What are these elements? Okay, they are spacing. You can see your spacing is too wide. Yeah, your spacing is too wide, whereas your contents, don't have enough padding. And then you didn't use bold, right? You didn't bold it enough to look like this one, and that bolding is actually a method of hierarchy, right? So making text bold is a tool to show hierarchy of text and where each text is more important to read, where your eyes should be dragged to. In fact, in our next class, we're going to, talk about Gestalt principles, and then you will understand the need for all of these things that I've talked about. It's a psychology thing, right? It's a psychology thing, and you should be able to, like, the reason I'm asking you to kind of replicate these things exactly the way they are is because they were built by professionals, and the professionals that built it had a reason for every dot they put on this page. Trust me, every dot you saw on this Netflix page has research behind it that is worth millions and millions of dollars in research for every dot on this Netflix page. Netflix is one of the companies that spends crazy amounts of money on research. So every dot you see here has a meaning behind it, and there is a reason for it, And the more you kind of replicate websites like this, the more you get the muscle memory of where things kind of should be and how things kind of should be, right? Whether it's the bolding of text or choosing bold for one or choosing a different, fading color. These websites, like, nothing that is on Netflix website is by mistake. Nothing. Even this button now, a year's worth of research went into choosing the text on this button. That's how crazy it is. So when you are replicating, make sure that you replicate exactly. Don't lean on your own understanding for now. Now, when you've replicated this enough, you can now apply the things that you've learned to building your own website. It's like standing on the back of giants. Whose work is this one? Dropbox.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
I can hear you, Lola Dera, right?
Okay. Mine, yes.
Okay, this is yours. All right. At least you gave us a nav bar. For this, we are grateful. You have to unlock it small. This. Where is it?
Hear me.
Unlocking it for us so that we can.
Okay.
Dropbox. Let me look for it.
Yes, I've unlocked.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Right. So at least you gave us a nav bar. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. Now, your hero section. Not sure. Okay, so this is the frame itself, and then your hero section. Okay, the nav bar is inside the hero section. Okay, cool. That also works. What I don't understand is what's this thing here?
I think it was part of the image when I screenshotted it. I don't know why.
I'm not seeing it on the image.
Okay, I did it from the website. I didn't.
From the website, but this line, you see the line I'm talking about, right? So why
a video?
It's staying there awkwardly. Like where does it belong? Where does it belong in?
I don't know. It was a video. When I made the screenshot, it was a video.
All right. Okay. This is a video.
Yes.
And the video, this line is part of the video.
Yes, it's moving. It was animated.
The line is animated.
Yes, it was moving, so I could only capture this part with the line. I think something was supposed to come through the line.
Okay, let me see. Okay, is the image. Okay, I see. Is the line
Yes.
is the image. I think maybe what you needed to do was crop it up a bit because it's looking a bit static. You get what I mean?
Okay.
Let's crop it up a bit to clean that black part. I think normally when you take a screenshot, you know, there are lines you get. So I guess that's kind of what happened there. So that line, let's just take it up a bit. So it's less like
Okay.
so what you have here is like the hero section, and then I don't know what I don't understand. Okay, so this part is also an auto layout, which is good. And it's 0. So how does this explain this? Does it mean that this how does this work? Lola, please can you come and help us?
Sir?
How this thing here? uh, What is going on here? Like what's going on? Okay, so I have this here, and then this is the spacing. That's that spacing. Okay,
Yes.
and then there is but this I don't understand how does this manage is hugging content, or how does it manage to stay in there? Is it absolute positioning? It's not even an absolute positioning. Like how is it hanging in there?
I framed both the text up and this image. They are in one frame. Then I also added the
The
nav
text and
and
the
this
image is the
image.
one. What I don't understand, there is no padding, right? Can you see there is no padding here? But how does this exist on its own inside this frame that doesn't have a padding? So this frame doesn't have a padding. There's no padding here. You can see.
Yes.
But this other frame now is existing inside here as if there is a padding to it, as if there is a padding around this one. How does that work? How did you manage to do that? You understand? Because I can understand it, it's hard to control it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm understanding.
This after this, so I can understand what is going on inside there. So there is this, and then there is this. And it actually just goes in. So this is fixed, yeah? It's fixed, top down, 22. Okay, it's in the middle. Makes sense. So sorry, what am I saying? Is makes sense, absolute sense actually. It's in the middle. It's in the middle. Oh, okay, it's in the middle. That's just it. Okay, I get it. But but if it's in the middle, then how is this one still staying up there? Wait, is this navigation bar? Is this an absolute position? It's not. So wait, hero takes away close to an navigation bar inside it. Um, the hero um, top top and middle, yeah, top and middle. All right, all right, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. Okay, makes sense. Okay, I think I understand it now. Sorry, but this is not how you should arrange it anyway. Right. So this thing should be stacked, right? So this space here should not exist. This space here should not exist because in fact, you know, even the navigation bar itself, um, even the navigation bar, you know, because when you start scrolling, yeah, the navigation bar is going to remain stuck there. So that space shouldn't exist. And then this one,
Mm.
you know, you should fill container, right? You should fill this container. Fill the container. Yeah, don't be afraid to do that. And then I'm guessing this one has no spaces. So what is this one? So what is this? Okay, there are no spaces there either. Oh, there are space. Yeah, there is a space. What is the space? What is the space? Oh, okay. I get. This one is fixed. Yeah, this is a fixed. Um, I think I'd rather it's Hawks content. Yeah, it's Hawks content, and then if you want to put a padding, you can put a padding. You know,
Okay.
also work, but Hawk content kind of automates. When you use Hawk content, it helps you automate a lot of things. And the reason I actually like to kind of fill container is, yeah, when you start expanding the page, like it helps it to be responsive, right? So see, you get now if this thing was set to fill container now, for instance, right? You get as you're expanding it, meaning that the size of the screen is getting bigger, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It shouldn't start looking awkward because the screen is getting bigger. Because there are screens that are bigger than the others. So it shouldn't start looking awkward. So this one, for instance, should also fill up the container when that happens. Yeah. And now you
Okay.
see the design has started falling apart because this is not how this design is intended. It's intended that this one goes that way and this one goes that way, I guess. So this one, for instance, okay, should also be a container. And then the space in between them should not be 480. You know, it should be set to auto.
Okay.
As you are expanding the screen, you know, the content don't start to behave weird. Now, I understand if you want this one to remain central, you know, when you are expanding, makes sense. Central positioning makes sense so that they don't expand, you know, they can remain central. But the navbar kind of should expand and then you get what I mean. Of course, it doesn't typically
Yes.
expand all the way like that. It's typically just small changes. But when that small changes happen, your design shouldn't start looking awkward. Do you understand?
Okay.
And that's why this one, for instance, also what happened here? Auto layouts, auto layout, and auto layout. So you know, here I would rather you just use one auto layout, use the auto layout of this one, but then add all the necessary borders, right? So the auto layout here is sufficient to do that. So you don't want to have auto layout on auto layout or not like too many at the same time.
Okay.
This one now, you know, is good that it captures the content like this, which is perfect. Of course, they should be the same dimensions. No, they are not. They are not. So you make them the same dimensions, right? And the way you make them the same dimensions, I'm guessing, is by making them to fill containers. So let's say that this container emits, you put it at fixed height, and then the content, you make the content to fill container. Now, all of them are automatically going to have the same height.
Okay.
And then this one is unnecessary. Use this one and then add the necessary padding and make it to fill container on the side so that if you fill container, let me just remove it now. It's blinding me. On group, and then this one, you now use this one, put a fill on it, the fill, and then on the side, say fill container, and then I don't know what padding that was. Whatever padding it is, you put it back. Like you just do the details
Okay.
again. So
Okay.
as this one is expanding now, you get it's also expanding, like it's
Okay.
responsive. So do the same for this. Yeah, this one doesn't need it. It doesn't need this. It doesn't need this again. Just use this one and add in extra padding.
Okay.
Same to this. The same with this. The same, I'm guessing, with this. Yeah, the same with this. The same with this. And the same with, I mean, this one, you know how you want to do it. Yeah. So you get the idea, right?
I do. Thank you.
Right. Who is next? We've done this, we've done that, we've done that. What's happening here? Whose is this? This is another of my favorites. Whose is this? Whose work is this? Okay, I'm not going to shave somebody's head in their absence. Whose work is this? Whose work is this? Whose is this? Okay, I'm not going to shave somebody's head in their absence. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Hello. Yeah, sorry. I was on mute. That's my work. The Apple one. Yes, this one.
This one is yours. All right, great.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. So this is the original one. Then the one by your left is the clone I did.
okay, this is the original, right?
The
Okay,
original is one with a frame. Yes, with a white. Yes.
all right.
Yes.
So I'm guessing you didn't find the particular, pictures
Images.
you want. That is okay.
Yes.
This one, what frame size did you use?
Okay, so before you told us to use that desktop frame size, I started doing this work I think on Monday or Tuesday. So I went to the Apple website, so I did a screenshot and now check for the frame they used. It was 1920 by 1080.
That 1980 and all of that is basically, that is basically it doesn't depend on Apple. It depends on the person who is watching who is experiencing the product. You understand? If I am using, if the size of my screen is 1440, whatever, Apple's website is going to respond. Is going to be responsive and move to fit the size of my screen.
Okay.
So when I ask you to use a particular size, there is a reason for that, so that we can now test its responsiveness. So what we are going to do for me is to do this thing with the frame size that was specified. So this frame size are going to use desktop, right?
Okay.
So we are going to use this desktop size, and when you're also viewing so this one now, this is Apple's phone, right?
Yes.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply put 1440 there, and then it's going to come down to my height, right? So we are going to do it like this. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I think another thing you might have done is because this is looking so wide, so if you're viewing your website and then you go to zoom, that zoom part, check that zoom part and make sure it's actually on 100%. You know what, let me just simply go to Apple's website right now and bring in Apple's website. That's is that apple.com?
Apple.com, like Apple, let me check. Just like apple.com.ng, yes, or Apple Nigeria. You see the
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, apple.com.ng.
Yes.
Okay, apple.com.ng does not exist.
Okay, just go to your Google and search Apple Nigeria, then you will see the
All right.
yes, that's what I did.
Oh, right. Oh, this thing just sorry. My Google is asking me to sign in. Just give me a second. Okay. Apple Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen
Okay.
it. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you make a screenshot of it. The way it works for me is that first I have to export it as a PDF file. To make the PDF file. So what again? I'm going to export. Okay. Okay, so it seems that's actually how they have their thing. It's the same thing, right?
Okay.
Yeah. It's absolutely so that's their design, right? So
Okay.
sorry, let me check something. That's the actual design. So
Okay.
just work with their design and work with the frame that we have. That's the 1440, 1440. Work with that frame so that it's easier for us to test the responsiveness. Now let's look at the auto layouts and how you arrange it. Right, you have a nav bar. That's
Yes.
good. What I don't like about your nav bar is the spacing. How do you even the spacing, right? Is 108 is 180. What that
Okay.
means that what that means is that when I expand this, you know, your thing, okay, exactly. It doesn't respond. It's not responsive, right? So what I'm going to do is that this one you make it to fill container. Now this one you make it to also fill container. Why is it okay? Okay, because this is not a frame. You see, so because this is not a frame, I cannot make this to fill container. That's why you have to always use work with frame. So,
Okay.
so let me add auto layout to this. Right? It seems like everything has scattered, and the reason everything scattered is because the elements were not built up from the scratch.
Okay.
You understand? So these elements now, these things found, these have been binded together with auto layouts.
Okay.
Right? And then this picture needs to be also binded together with this one with auto layout. Or what's come to us, you can make it absolute positioning. You can use absolute positioning to you decide where you want to put it. I don't even know why.
Okay.
Why did this thing expand all the way to the bottom self? What was at the bottom? What was that? What was that big that is expanding it? Minus this one. What was inside this thing? Okay, let's see. So we have the learn more button that is now in absolute positioning, which doesn't make sense. So, and then we have this group. What is this thing? What is this thing?
What?
This thing, what is it?
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, I added blur because of the image. Yeah, I added some layer blur. Yeah. Yeah.
layer blur.
Yes.
That was not how to add layer blur now. Okay, you wanted the image,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Blur.
to blur that phone because it was not showing, it was giving some sharp edges. I wanted to just blur it to the background, to the black background.
So what's the difference? I'm struggling to see the difference now.
Like if you look deeply at the phone, it's a sharp, a sharp edge there because when I use a plugin to remove the background.
Okay,
So
okay. I see.
yes,
Like you blurred out this part, yeah?
yes.
Okay. I see what you did there. Oh, okay. I see it. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it. Anyway, I think you're right, but the truth is that it's image editing. You understand?
Oh, okay,
It's not a Figma thing. Is an image editing thing, right?
okay,
But
okay,
good work with that. So what you needed to do is again, you
okay,
build your auto layout from ground up. You don't. It's not an afterthought.
okay,
Auto layout is not an afterthought. Now you see this one. Now I automatically look at this and see that there is no auto layout applied here, because if auto layout is applied here, this one, this button here cannot be. It's not centralized. You
okay,
understand?
okay,
So build up with auto layouts. Get used to it. Get used to doing it. It helps you arrange your work. Now I don't have to. Now I'm going to come here now and start checking. Okay, is this one is the length and width? Or you see this one is on auto layout. It's now looking good, right? It's
yes,
looking good. This one is also
okay,
on auto layout, right?
yes.
So why didn't you put this on auto layout? Like why?
I,
you know.
I feel
And
like okay,
again, auto layout is not an afterthought. It's something that you build from the ground
yes,
up. Like it's part and parcel of your. You see how we build that other one.
yes,
From the ground up. Like auto layout comes first, and then at the end you now have a frame. At the end you now have a frame, but the auto layout has to come first.
okay,
Um. Also, don't be afraid to use absolute positioning. Absolute positioning is part of auto layout. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
For instance, I'm sure that these images, some of them, maybe not actually, I mean, because they seem like they're in exactly the same places and all of that. But these images
yeah,
have been in absolute positioning, But the thing is that because they use auto layout, the frames will be exactly the same. Things will
same,
be located in the exact same place as every other frame, and it looks neat. It looks neater, right?
okay,
It's neater. Yeah, I can understand the difficulty in finding this thing, but you can
yeah,
literally let me show you a trick. Let me see,
okay,
like that image now. Uh, sorry. Um, okay, let me try to open it on let me open it on this thing and see if it will give a better. Not for Nigeria. Google search. Yeah. Apple will typically have a lot of these pictures online. So It's actually really weird that I cannot copy this just from the website. It's on. So save images. So some of the images you can save, some of them apparently you can't. But like when you go to a website and right click, you should see something that asks you to save an image.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I think save images. Let me save this one now, for instance. Download. Save. Let me see if it saves. Let me come to my Figma and try to paste this here. So try to use that feature as where possible. Just try to use it.
Yeah.
This one counts. This one counts. So this is directly from the Apple website. This one now is directly from the Apple. So try to be using this where possible. Of course, this one should have been a transparent image in the sense that like it should be having a PNG like with removed background. Of course, I'm sure I can find a plugin that can allow me to remove background. I'm sure I can find background remover, plugin, and then remove the background of this one. Okay, I need an app key for this. But there are many apps, in fact, on websites, on mobile phones that you can use to remove the background of whatever image you want to use. So you can try to use more of that. But I mean, again, I'm not really focused on the pictures you use. I'm more focused on the arrangement. Do you understand? And
Yes.
I'm more focused on the arrangements, more on the arrangement than the pictures anyway. So you just try to get that arrangement. Your auto layout is really all over the place that I really cannot even do anything here now. Like this one, if I put auto layout, it's also scatters, right? So just fix that, and then we can look at it again.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So this one is another interesting. Whose job is this? Faith. Is Faith here?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
All right. So I'm happy that you chose something that will challenge you. Because this kind of looks, I'm sure you know how it looks and it's challenging, right? So, but why are we having everything all over the place? Like nothing is inside a frame. Is this how you want to? I mean, this is not going to, it's not going to fly. Do you understand? You have to put it in a frame. So let's try doing that. Let's try putting everything in a frame. That would be like selecting everything and pressing Shift A. You get, they're all in a frame and they still maintain their integrity because each of them had the auto layout. Now, sorry. Now, this one is the nav bar. I mean, good, you gave us a nav bar. And let's see how it is. So because you didn't have a frame before, this nav bar could not have been your container, but now that our nav bar is inside a frame. Oh wait, what is this? God. Oh. Hey, God. Everything is on absolute positioning. So if I remove this absolute positioning, now everything just scatter. Wait a minute. Okay, so this frame now. Okay, let's just deal with this one by one. But this particular frame cannot be on absolute positioning now. Okay, but we can still take it up back to the top, yeah. What else? This frame. Which frame is this? Cannot be an absolute positioning. Remove it, bring it back to the top. Okay. So Faith, basically you should have completed your work by kind of, you get, Now I understand the difficulty here. In fact, I understand the difficulty because of the way everything is arranged, but it's not insurmountable, and I will show you how it's not. So yeah, I mean, it's good that you figured out the frames on their own. I don't like this one. Is not your number is not on auto layout. Put it on auto layout and then arrange the things inside.
Okay.
Yeah, put it on auto layout and then arrange things inside. This icon, choose an icon that is this is a field icon. Choose a line icon at least, and you know, you should not have more patience than that. You can actually, after you've chosen a line icon, maybe if that line icon has a line here, you can actually work on removing that line. But if you don't want to go that far, just at least choose a line icon. This one is just it's field, it's not the same thing. So basically work on the auto layout here. Suggestion would be that the space between here should be auto. The space between these should be auto, so that as you're expanding it, this one will keep being at that edge. Do you understand?
Okay.
And then I imagine that yeah, this one and this one should be in the same auto. Okay, so this one should be in the same auto layout, and then this one, there should be space between this auto layout and then this combined auto layout, and then they should be in the same auto layout, and then here should be space. Here should be a definite, like a definite space. You know what I mean? Like you find whichever number it is and put there, so that as it's expanding, this one doesn't expand. Then for this one, okay, this is a carousel. This is a carousel, right? So I think we'll still learn how to do. Nah. You should have. I think by now you kind of should have figured out how to make carousels, because we've learned about frames. So this is a frame, right? A carousel is the way. Sorry, the way it works is that you have. Again, let me try to build from ground up, with the frame, right? So you have something like this, yeah. So like say 3 different pictures, right? And then the 3 different pictures, you combine them together in an auto layout, right? And then I'm sure this space in between them is maybe smaller than that. Yeah, let's see what it looks like. Let's try 20. Let's see what 20 looks like. Okay, that's too slim. Let's try 40. Okay, you just do the details. So a frame kind of limits what the person sees, right? It limits what the person sees, and that's what happened here. So what should happen here is that this thing is bigger, but now you make it fixed width, and then you fix the width to 1,440. You see what happens there. Now you can still see the rest because I've not clicked on them. But when I click this content, you can no longer see everything. Now, this one, you can now make it center. You see? That's it. That's what they did here, right?
Okay.
That's what happened here. In a subsequent class, where you are going to understand how this works, because now we are going to kind of learn motion design, because what happens here is that this one goes and then the next one comes and then the next one comes. That's motion design. So we're going to learn how carousels work in motion design in the motion design class. We'll have a class for that. But for now, you should know how frames like this work. This is a frame, right? This is a frame. Just that the contents of this frame are bigger than the actual frame, and that's why it seems cut off like this. Right. So what's the next one? Every other thing here. Okay, I think this is a really, really nice detail. Really nice detail. Really nice detailing. Yeah. Okay. So the arrangement, right? So this is the hero section. Sorry, I keep forgetting that this is anime. So this is the hero section with this carousel. Now this global impact seems to be on the next one, not the one with hero section, but on the next one, right? So you bring it down here. Now, this is where you have problems, and this is where I expect there to be problems, right? But again, not insurmountable problems, right? So this is one frame, and this is another frame. So let's bring it out and think about how that is going to work. Okay, because when you are designing, you should also think about the developers that are going to develop it and the instructions that you give them in order for them to develop it to maintain the same thing that you want it to be. Now, this thing seems to be, by the way, who designed this website? Okay, this popular. This thing seems to be, this thing seems to be like this one. I'm just looking at it. It's just scratching me because I don't know the arrangement is just weird, but it is what it is. So this button is on the right, like is aligned to the right, and there is some space here. So we are going to make this a fixed size and make all of them fixed sizes. So this size is something like this size, and this size of the picture is something like this size, but not the same as this one. So we have that fixed here. So we'll put this on auto. If you put this on auto layout, this is what happens. If you put this to on auto layout, this is what happens. You get, and you don't want this to happen. So you want them to intersect, and for them to intersect, first you need to. The space between them should not be 0, it should be negative. Let's say negative 200, right? You see, that's too much. Maybe let's say negative 100, right? Okay, that's now more like it, yeah? Well, let's say I'm just, well, you get the idea. That's more like it. And then this should be a fixed height. And then this one should be in another frame. I will explain why. Because if you make this one to fill container, this is what happens with it. Okay, I already put it in a frame. Sorry. Let's expand this. If I put it in talking of height, fill container, this is what happens. And that's what you want, right? So you have to put it in an auto layout, and then that's the image alone on auto layout. And then that image is what you now say to fill container. Now, when it fills container, you now arrange it to be at the bottom. You see how that happens?
Yeah.
You can do the same with this one. Put it in a frame, in a separate frame, than it is. But I mean, if you want to continue, you can continue and do that. But it's not really necessary anymore because so you now kind of the spacing you cannot control it by changing the height of this thing. So when you've done that for this, you can duplicate this, and then this one you take it over to this other side, and bring this one to okay, you can bring it to the front and bring it to the front. That's something crazy that normally happens. If you bring this to the front, it goes the other way. That's something that normally happens with okay, so what we're going to do is okay. So bring it it's like this okay, this one you put this one on auto layout the same way you did the other one. Put it on auto layout and make the height to fill container. This one you remove it from that auto layout. That's on group by removing some auto layer. Then this one to fill container, and then you push it to the bottom, right? So, sorry, to the top. This one goes to the top, and then it means that this auto layout itself has to come to the bottom. And then what have I done? Sorry, this one to the front. Okay, what have I done? Okay, fine. You know what? Let's trying to be too smart, but we can outsmart it, right? So sorry, duplicate this. I even took the long way, so duplicate this, because this picture always has to be at the back, right? So duplicate this, take this picture to this side. And then it has to be at the bottom. Okay. I think I'm forced to make this an absolute position, but then it's going to be okay. So here you what we're going to do. I think because there is just no way for typically there is this thing in Figma. I think it's a bug. That when you put things on the right on this side are always on top, whereas on this side they are always at the bottom, right? So I think and that's when it's in an auto layout, right? But if you remove the auto layout, then you can. So here, not on grouping, but remove auto layout. Like if you remove the auto layout, like after you arrange everything you want to arrange, you can now remove the auto layout, take this one back to the send to back. I mean, it's just for natural for me. It feels a bit weird, but that's how Figma is designed. So now you can what you want to do. Yeah. Then this one is just an attention to detail thing. The sizes are different. The shadow is too deep on this one, whereas there is shadow here, but it's a soft shadow, right? So you need to sorry, you need to make the shadow equally soft on this one. So let's see, drop shadow. This blur is 40. About let's try 10. Let's try 10. Y, is it really on Y or is it 0? I don't know. Yeah. Blur 10. Okay. Let's try that blur 40 again. But then reduce this one to maybe. Okay, I think that's more like it, yeah. Yeah, that's more like it. And then the size is just different. And then the border, the corner radius is also different. So you need to work on that as well. Okay, this is frame in frame. I'm not a fan. So you kind of, even this one doesn't even have auto layout. So there is no auto layout. So remove on group. What is happening here? There is no on group. Ha. Well, you literally just put a rectangle at the back of it. Okay. Sorry, that was funny. So this will make it 1440. And then you figure out the this thing. Typically, when you arrange all these things and then you put it in a frame, you can now make the color of the frame to be this. So this is the background color. So everything will now be that background color instead of doing it one by one. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah. But the point is, everything auto layout. Everything auto layout. Even the ones that look like they are scattered like this, auto layout. Was put it in absolute positioning, but still auto layout, please. Very important, because auto layout kind of help make the work look neater, right? Next person. Okay. Is there any work I've not reviewed? Okay, I think I've reviewed everything. Okay, so thank you very much. That will be it for today. So your assignment is just going to be to find just the same thing you did last week, but this time is going to be like go to the website that you designed, screenshot the mobile view of it on your mobile phone, take that long screenshots, figure out how to do it, go on YouTube, whatever you need to do, figure out how to take a long screenshot of the mobile from top to bottom, and then place it side by side with your web view and design for the mobile version. Sometimes you don't need to even design from the scratch. I'll show you an example. So in my own now, for instance, right, all I need to do is, even the buttons is even the same size, right? So I don't even need to do anything with the buttons, right? So it's the same button I use for the old one, I'm still going to use for the new one. Just that, a couple of things. You see, I don't even know which one is which. That's how you know a good designer. I didn't even know which one is the fake one and which one is the. So I take this and I take this. Well, literally, you know what? Let me even go further than that. Let me just, take it like this now, right? So I take it that like this. This is like the home page. Sorry, the hero section, right? So in my own hero section now, instead of arranging it side by side, I arrange it top to bottom, right? And then this one I say hot content, top to bottom, and then this one I also arrange it, top to, bottom arrangement, and I'm sure something here went to. Oh, okay. Because first of all, let me make this one to hot content, right? So because this one, yeah, interesting. So because this one, this one was, is this fixed? The height is fixed. This one is hot content. The container. I'm going to. Anyway, okay. Let's try to figure out exactly what happened and why. So this one, let me put the field white. So so when I put this thing, I rearranged it to be top to bottom. This is what happened. This should be hot content. This is what happened, yeah. So this frame is this one, and then this bottom frame is this one, and it like completely collapsed, right? Completely collapsed. So this is the vertical size, that's top, bottom. Let me try hot content. Right. Now, inside that frame, this is actually what I'm interested in, these lines, because these lines were done to, at some point, we are arranged to fill container, right? But now, because I've changed it a bit, they are now confused, but I'm going to fix it. So this one now, this particular frame here, what do I do? Let me make it a fill container. Okay, this one is now giving me, is now kind of having a mind of its own. I know what to do. So let's say, okay, let me see what we have here. So what we have here is this, and then the space here is not too much. So let's say instead of 155, I make it the same space as this, which is 36. Not even 36, so 36. Oh, you know what? Like I actually let me actually just bring it into this frame. Bring it into this frame. Why not? And then I'm going to get rid of on group, get rid of this other frame, and then let's work with this frame. And then this one, I'm going to make it side by side like this, so that they are side by side. You get. And then what else happened here? I'm going to fill container. The spacing between is going to be auto is good, but the size is fill container, right? So container is full now, but this one is still collapsed. the lines are still collapsed, yeah. So with the lines, what I'm going to do is, the lines are just confused, don't mind them. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to make them, instead of 90 zeros, because they're kind of facing in the wrong direction. So they're now facing right. And then instead of fixed, I'm going to make them the field container. Right. And then the spacing between them, let's fix that space. So that space in between them. Instead of auto, I kind of still want them to be auto though. These two lines, I'm just going to put them in a separate frame. Okay, not auto. Not auto. Let me just okay, I know what to do. Let me just make the, instead of auto, I'm going to maybe make it 10 look good. 10 looks okay. Yeah, 10 looks okay. And then yeah, field container. And then this one as well, I'm going to make it to field container. This one, and this one will also field container. But then the okay, the positioning is still the same. It doesn't change. Still the same positioning. Okay. So they don't even now have the subtext. So the subtext is no longer there. Connect is evolving. That's weird. Why would the subtext not be there? Let me leave it that way. I will just leave it. Maybe just because of the. But then the text size, the font size changed on this one. So this one, 64. Maybe make it too much. 48. 48 looks good. And then another thing is that this hero, this is too much for mobile. So I think 20 for mobile is okay. Yeah, 20 for mobile is typically okay. Yeah. But this one actually looks more than 20 though. But let me see. Okay, it's more than 20. So let's say, but then again, what size are we using? Width 570. Width of this one is what? 430. So let's use 430. And this one, let's make it a field container. Okay, nice one. And then this one we're going to make it to be fixed to 430. So fixed to 430. Fixed width and here 430. Okay. So the word is coming to, then this 60 too much for mobile. So let's try 20, see what 20 looks like. 20 is not bad. And this one, let's try 20 as well. So the spacing you need to also consider, because mobile has smaller spacing. This spacing here, I think 36. Let's try 20. Okay. Okay. So everything is coming together now. This 100 cannot be 100. Let's try 20. And this one is too big. Let's try, it's fixed at 660. Let's try fixed at 400. Oh, not sorry. Not here, 400. Too much, 500. Okay, that's more like it. But still, that's padding. A padding looks more. Let's try a bigger pattern. Let's say 24. Sorry, 24. Okay, this looks more like it. So it's your word. Okay, the space between here. Actually, not. So let me just remove this. Let me just try to make this 24. So what it looks like, and then this text is actually big. Let's try 40. Yeah. Connection is evolving, and so are we. Okay, now it's not obvious that the text should be smaller than this, so let's try 36. Okay, so 36 seems closer to the truth. Right, so you get, so like I just pretty much used exactly the same things that I used for this one, you know, to design. You know, I didn't have to bring anything from anywhere. By the way, this thing looks a bit, maybe not 100. Maybe let's try 80 or so. Oh, okay, 60. Okay, 70. All right, so that's more like kids. Anyway, but I mean, you get the idea. You get the idea. I think this one is also a little big. Maybe 36 is much. Let's see if 32 works. Okay, maybe less than that. Let's say 20, 26. Okay. Too much. Okay, 32 is more like it actually. Yeah. So, and then of course, okay, let me just, because I kind of have to make it one-on-one or else I'm not going to rest. So this one, 500 may not be it. So let's try 480. Okay, 480 is more like it, but then corner radius 40 may be too much. Let's see what 30 does. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, now it's becoming apparent that this one, let me just remove this first and see what's going on so it's easier to control. Okay, so that's kind of maybe slightly closer to the truth. So this one is 24, let's try 28. Let's try 30. Okay, so I think it's becoming closer. Anyway, but I mean, of course, I might even, you know, decide to go in with this thing is a bit large, isn't it? It's fixed. Fixed as 58. Let's reduce it to, let's say, 40. Okay, now it's easier to control, easier to manage because I kind of, yeah. Okay, let's try 44. 48. 50. Okay. Yeah. So then the nav bar, you know, that means we need to get another icon, find this hamburger icon, and then, you know, reduce the size of our um typically I would kind of have another asset set for the mobile. You know, just things that I need to, maybe some icons I need to reduce in size, I reduce it here, like do everything together. So this one is 16. I may decide that, you know, 14 is now more like it or whatever, or you do everything together so that the mobile will have its own icon sets and this one will also have its own icon sets, and yeah, that way you know what is, you know, what you need to do. Of course, you can, like I've already done this here, I can just take this one. okay, the button size didn't change, so yeah, you don't need to change anything. Well, of course, if you want the button to, because this button is still the child of this one. So if you want the button here to now be the child of children of these people here, we now need to kind of, redo the button, like bring the button back and kind of change whatever it is we need to change. Remove icon, remove this. The text is learn more. And then remove the stroke. Add a fill and make the fill blue, and then make the text in it white. Right. The reason I did that is so that this button kind of, becomes a child of this, Right. Okay, so you get the idea, right? So I can, do that for, go on and do that for every other one. Like this one now, this section, again, I don't have to, go all the way to the beginning to do everything. I can just, like, this one is already arranged like this. I can just, instead of arrange it like this, and then change the parameters. Is change the parameters basically. Change the text size, change the size of everything. You get not necessarily having to do everything from the absolute scratch. So sometimes when you change the layout from horizontal to vertical, you need to change some things, because it kind of I think this should be, was it 24 we used for that one, right? So it was 24, wasn't it? There was 24. Yeah. And then the space between this one is 150. We can make it 20. This thing was holding content, yeah. Good. So this one now, maybe instead of 150, maybe it's now 100. Who knows? It's now 100, 80. Okay. 80 doesn't look terrible, but the border radius has to change to maybe 10. Yeah, that's more like it. And then this text changes from 24 to 20 looks good. 20. No, this is too hug. So what is it? Okay. Let's just add a little border there, just so it's not too confusing. So that's kind of it. That's just what you need to do. Okay, I think this is still again should be filling container. Let's make it fill container, and then the container, let's make it the container should be the size of this iPhone. So that's 430. Fixed with 30. Fill. Fixed fill container. Okay, I need to change the border radius as well. This one's. I need to change the border radius from 30 to, let's say, 20 good. Yeah, I think it looks more like it. So yeah, that's how you just change all the segments. And then of course this one, the same pattern. The same pattern like this. For this one is on top. Then fix, no, because it's I think we need to put it inside a frame and then make it field container or something like that. Yeah, then it becomes clearer where it should be. So if this one is now top content, but this 150, can reduce it from 150 to what, 20? Then this one reduce it from 100 to what, 20. The text size should also go down a bit, and this one, let's make this to field container. And things inside as well, including this one, should field container. The spacing in between too much, make it 20. Text size, this one too much, but this 32 we use that time. 32, yeah. 32, and this one 20, maybe to 16 or so. Not 16 is too much. 20, yeah. Then this one, sorry, this one, the border reduced from 40 to 20, so 20, it's like not terrible. Okay, maybe 30 actually. 20 looks too much. Okay. So maybe this thing is actually not that. I'll make it maybe not 20. The bottom at least looks fatter. It's more separated from the bottom. Then this one is fixed. Yeah, it's fixed. So try to do the size height from. Let's see what 300 looks like. Yeah, so that's kind of what you do for each and every element, and then you change it from mobile to change it from desktop to mobile. Okay, all right, so that is it. So your assignment for here is to kind of do the, okay, I'm going to give you an assignment for, the assignment I want to give you for, okay, since I'm just going to send the assignment to the group, right? But what I would like you to do is to compare, you can take Google, you can take YouTube, you can take, by Google I mean Google Maps, Google Mail, YouTube, like all these, even Dropbox, all these apps that have desktop version and mobile version. I need you to compare, do an audit of the desktop version and the mobile version and find the differences, you know, document the differences between them. I think that would be the assignment for the first part of the class. Then the second part of the class will be this, you know, make a mobile version of what we typically do. All right. So that is it. Have a nice day. Any questions, by the way? Any questions? Right, no questions. Have a nice day, guys.